To Gatwick, and I'll talk to our correspondent there, Ian Palmer. Ian, it's been an on and off again day for the airport with the runway opening and closing. What's the latest situation there now?
Well, the latest is that the airport remains open. You may remember that there was a delay in flights here at Gatwick sometime in the afternoon when they closed the runway until 3 o'clock just to clear the snow and ice. It reopened again just after 3 when there was a Virgin Atlantic flight that took off to Antigua with 450 people on board. Very good for them. Since that time, 3:10, when that took off, there are only around about a few moments ago been 17 flights that have actually left Gatwick Airport. So if you're inside that terminal behind me, it won't feel particularly like Gatwick Airport is open. Many delays, many cancellations, so much so that there were 575 flights scheduled to leave or come into here today. 380 have been cancelled, so it's been completely devastating for the business here at Gatwick, and very devastating for passengers who remain behind me, waiting by chance to see if they may get away. The advice to them is that if your flight has been cancelled, do go home and try again tomorrow.
So more than 300 flights cancelled today, and horrific number. Is there any sense that people are beginning to lose their tempers over there? Are people sort of managing to sort of stay calm despite the situation?
Anger has flared up on occasion, mainly against British Airways. British Airways postponed all flights out of Gatwick between 10 and 5 o'clock this afternoon, and then sometime in the afternoon after 3 o'clock they said that they were going to cancel all its flights out of Gatwick for the rest of the day. Now, for BA passengers who have been checking all of their online information service and also calling the carrier to make sure that their flights were going to leave as scheduled, obviously come in early to make sure that they would pick up those flights. They've been very frustrated, and they have been very angry because they see other flight carriers trying to get their passengers away, but they, for some reason, feel as if they've been left out in the cold, quite literally, and many have had to return home, particularly if they've had small children, and many of them, unfortunately, Clive, are still behind me in there because they can't get away from Gatwick. And of course they can't get into the hotels, which are now full. And so what is happening is that Gatwick authorities here are trying to make them their evening and night as comfortable as possible by putting on some beds and some cots for young families and children, and giving away free food and water, and trying to get as much information to passengers who are spending the night in the terminal behind me as possible, and maybe even they might be able to reschedule during the small hours, but frankly, you know, if they have the stamina to do that, well, it's looking very, very difficult because, as I say, very few flights are actually leaving or actually coming in here overnight.
Sure, difficult situation for everyone. All right, Ian, there at Gatwick Airport, thanks very much.